whether OJ is guilty or not is maybe why you're here. But my fear is that people who live out in Iowa or out in farmland who never interact with us will suddenly have a negative opinion of us. The black man's image and the beating that is taken after we've worked so hard to show that we're not all criminals.
Okay, this is our Christmas episode. We're recording just a couple days before Christmas. You got any plans to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Evan?
Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping some presents today. And then people are coming over to my house and we're doing Christmas stuff. I don't know. I've been really out of it.
Same.
I've been sick. I've been completely overwhelmed with end-of-year work stuff. Haven't been podcasting other than the nice episode that we did with Will.
Yeah, and that was over a week ago now. So.
That was over a week ago. It feels like I'm being deprived by not podcasting every single Saturday or Sunday morning.
Well, okay, in 2025, we'll commit to this every other day.
I mean, I could just start recording on my own, but I don't think anyone wants to hear that. So
yeah. All right, coming to patreon.com/rockhardcaucus in 2025. Evan's audio journal. How about that?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will be paying for that.
I could insert sound effects and stuff. I'll just completely commit to the producer role, stay off mic next year.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be continuing doing the podcast if that was the case.
Okay. You said presents. I've been, this year I'm 0 in, 0 out. I think I've reached the stasis. No presents.
No presents?
Yeah. I hope I don't receive any. I'm certainly not giving any.
Damn. So you're really committed to the reason for the season. You're not concerned with the materialist consumer culture stuff.
That's right. Zero materials Christmas. It is full spirit only.
Just about Jesus.
That's right. Did I ever tell you one year, my parents, this is probably my mom's idea. She wrapped nothing. It was like a fake present. It was like just wrapping paper that kind of looked like a present. Yeah. And it said from Jesus. And then we opened it and it was nothing.
Wow.
And that was supposed to be like a pro Jesus.
Yeah, is that why you turned away from the church?
So yeah, I mean, how am I supposed to take that? This is Jesus tricking us into thinking we got a present.
Yeah, that's messed up, man.
It was really funny.
I used to get like a fossilized, or my mom would have like a potato that was like fossilized, and that she would always sneak it into gifts every year, like recycling it. And then we also had this like weird fucked up doll it was just like I don't know. It was just like a fabric doll that was like stuffed, and it had like little weird glasses, and we called it Mr. Peepers. And we stuck like cat whiskers into it, so it had whiskers. And that was another recurring gift that circulated.
The potato thing, those get like poisonous after a while, right? When they start growing the like tendrils.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened with this potato, but it just turned hard as a rock and didn't grow any tendrils. Yeah.
Petrified potato.
And it didn't like smell bad like you would expect. I don't know what biological process led to that, but
yeah. Okay, well, this is Rock Hard Caucus, which is a podcast about the news and the politics of Iowa. There's been a lot of news this week, actually, which is surprising because people aren't supposed to be making news.
No.
They're supposed to be celebrating the Lord. But here we are. News ended up. First thing on my agenda today is Iowa finally, after 3 months of not having a lieutenant governor, we finally have a lieutenant governor again. Everyone has been panicking for the past 3 months. Like, what happens what if we have to rely on the chain of succession? Oh my God. It's like when the boss is on vacation and everyone at work is like really scared.
Yeah, I've been absolutely petrified thinking about what would happen if Kim Reynolds died. Like, it's really a scary thought. to
Yeah, I'm
consider.
always concerned for her safety. Anytime the thought enters my mind, I kind of freeze up. Like, oh God, what if something bad would happen to her?
Yeah, I know. Gives you pause for sure.
Well, she has appointed a new lieutenant governor, formerly a state senator, Chris Cornoyer, which is a little on the nose.
Yeah. This was with a
Cornoyer,
U.
Come on.
But,
well, yeah.
I mean, you might as well
maybe
take
I'm
that
saying
out.
I might be saying it wrong. Cornoyer.
Yeah.
I suppose people have probably been pronouncing it correctly in the news, but I didn't watch any videos. Just
Yeah, fuck that.
text only for
Text
me. Thank
only.
you.
That's right. Same here.
So our favorite Des Moines Register reporter, Brianne Pfaffenstiel, wrote a piece about our new Lieutenant Governor, Chris Cornoyer. Now I'm in my head about it. And the headline here is how a computer nerd and substitute teacher earned her spot as Iowa's Lieutenant Governor. I want to place heavy emphasis on earned her spot, because that's what this is. Political appointments are earned.
Mm-hmm.
In all cases. And I mean, when you have the web page open for this article, the header on the web page is Iowa becomes third state with women serving as their top executives. So that's something to celebrate for sure. If you look at what's been going on in the state the past couple of years, all that really matters is that it's women doing it at the top.
Yeah, it really really makes up for that Kamala Harris loss. I was like really disappointed that she lost, but now that we have two women at the top of our state government, then like we're good.
Yeah, obviously we're on the right track. Women are in charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me read a little bit from Brianne Pfaffenstiel's piece here. The opening is, I think, kind of fun. Chris Cornoyer was substitute teaching in a fourth grade classroom on a day in 2022 when students were learning about Iowa history, including the state's governor, the state tree, and the state rock.
No idea. No.
Yeah,
I know the bird. It's a goldfinch.
The
right?
goldfinch, of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Our state rock, I think
geode, probably.
Gray rock.
Oh, okay, or gray rock. I don't know if that's a type of rock, but I would assume like a geode, because there's like there's geodes somewhere, like northwest Iowa, I think.
Yeah. Do we have a cave with those?
I'm pretty sure there is. Let's see. List of U.S. state rocks, minerals, stones, and gemstones.
Our state tree is probably the...
Oh, I got it. It's geode.
Geode? Okay. We can't be the only state celebrating the geode, right?
I mean, a geode is a cool rock.
They're cool. It's like a hidden secret.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, it's like a Kinder egg.
It's nature's Kinder egg, yeah. And the state tree, I'm going to guess brown.
Let's see, state tree. It's tree. Oak.
Oak, okay.
I think oak. Yeah, oak. Amazing.
Did you guessed that?
No.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure that the first thing I saw was correct. So
okay. Yeah, oak.
Went looking further.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a default pick, the oak.
Yeah.
But we sure got him here. All right, continuing. At the time, the Iowa legislature had just declined to pass a bill making the honeybee the state insect. So Cornoyer got the students to vote on which insect they believed should represent Iowa and craft a letter about it to Republican Governor Kim Reynolds. First question for you, Evan. What should our state bug be?
What are like invasive pests that
I'm going with the box elder bug.
Oh yeah, box elder bugs. Those things suck.
There's like swarms of them in the fall.
Yeah, they will like just completely swarm your like front porch.
And they're invasive, aren't they? I think they're not.
Yeah,
native.
I think they're not good.
There's also the
emerald ash borer.
Oh yeah, no. Those. Yep, very destructive. Yeah. And then those fake ladybugs. What were those called?
Japanese beetles.
Yeah, they like came overseas on lumber or something.
Yeah,
I think that's how all these bugs get transferred around.
Yeah,
anyway.
They show up in my basement randomly.
Yeah. I also just love this story because she's a substitute teacher, and she's taking it upon herself to have the students write a letter to the governor. It seems a little bit she's like eager to get her name out there. Like maybe this was her plan all along. She's very ambitious, using her position as a fourth grade substitute teacher to get the ear of the governor of the state.
Well, you did say she earned her position as lieutenant governor.
This is how you get into
this is the work that she put in.
Politics. Whatever your job is, just use it to get in touch with the governor. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. This is like the section about women, how we now have women in charge. Iowa is now one of only a few states in the country to have ever had women concurrently serving as governor and lieutenant governor. So we're unique in that respect. Massachusetts and Arkansas became the first states to put women in both of their top executive offices in 2022. So this did not happen anywhere at all in the country until 2 years ago.
Wow.
And that's something to celebrate. Arkansas, another state with very good policies for women, the women of the state, right? I feel like this isn't really laid out in the article, but Iowa now has like the most restrictions on abortion of like all the states. Like we are tied with other states with the 6-week abortion ban. I feel like that warrants a mention in this section of the article. I think it does like,
too.
Women are in charge now. Because that affects mostly women, and I think it's really bad for women in general. Yeah,
agreed. But rich women, rich Republican women, not affecting them as much.
And then there's a little bit here about how, like, Kim Reynolds, whenever she, like... Well, let me just read it. Now, when young girls visit her office, she puts them in the big red executive chair behind her desk. I sit them in a chair and just say, you can be whatever you want to be, Reynolds said. And that might be a mom or a teacher or an astronaut or the next governor of this great state or president of the United States, but you get to decide that. Now, I think it's good to encourage children, especially, you should discourage young white males, of course, because they need to be put in their place. But everyone else should be encouraged for sure. But I feel like this is kind of overselling what's possible, especially what's possible given the restrictions that our state government is placing upon people.
I think there are definite positive effects from having like representation like that, but is this really the representation that you want,
Right. Well, and she's also telling all these girls that they can become an astronaut, and that's just not true for almost any of them.
It's not true for most men either.
No.
Most men.
And you have to be in Ohio, I think, right? Like, it's mostly Ohioans who get to be astronauts.
Yeah. And also...
it's a dying field anyway.
Yeah, that's also a good way to get into politics, too, apparently.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's a few of those, yeah. This is actually the path that she's laying out. It's not 4 different things. Mom, teacher, astronaut, governor.
You can do it all.
Yes, that's the succession path. That's how you get from point A to point B. Also, one thing she leaves out is all these young girls, you can be anything you want to be except for a boy later. You cannot be that.
True. Very true.
Like, come on. That's a very simple thing that you should be allowing these girls to choose later on.
Right.
Or even now.
Or gender.
Right, yeah. But that's something that our state government's been really hammering on the past couple of years is no hormones for anyone.
Yeah, that's limiting the options quite a bit.
And here's a little bit about Chris Cornowyer's sort of history of gender promotion. I don't know what I'm talking about here, but let me just read this. Cornoyer has helped to oversee legislation that removed gender balance requirements on state boards and commissions. At the time, so this is like in contrast to they're celebrating like, oh, 2 women are in charge. And then you look at like what she's done in the recent past and it's like making sure that there's not gender balance requirements. At the time, she said the need is outdated and women are holding leadership roles more than ever before. She said this week that her appointment to the lieutenant governor position helps prove her point. We're going to normalize this, and it's just not going to be an issue in the future, Cornoyer said.
Okay, yeah, interesting. I've never heard that argument before about racial stuff or gender identity stuff. Like, oh, we've made so much progress on civil rights. We can just get rid of all this shit now. Like, we're good. Mm-hmm. The future's looking bright. Progress is unending. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obama was president, so we have racial equality across the board.
True.
We have 2 women as governor and lieutenant governor of Iowa, so there is no gender discrimination anywhere. How could anyone be sexist? How could there be misogyny in the workplace when women are in charge? It's just not. It's not realistic. Oh God. So then they talk about how, like, what's her role going to be? What are her priorities? What does Governor Reynolds want her to be sort of like spearheading? Well, and this is from an interview that Pfaffenstiel did with both of them. There's a video of that. I didn't watch it, but like that's where the content of this article is coming from, is that interview. So this is about Reynolds. She says she's looking forward to working with incoming Republican President-elect Donald Trump, who she supported after first endorsing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And she's quoted here, "He really works well with the states. He really defers to the states," Reynolds said. "I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity to do block grants and to really... We did Doge before Doge was cool." Listen, it's not ominous. Cool now.
Yeah. You're referring to a meme from like 20 years ago. I mean, not 20, but
it's
a little shit that you
like
knew.
2012 Reddit, basically, is where that came from, right?
Yeah.
The new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, is set to focus on slashing government waste and spending. It's being headed by tech mogul Elon Musk and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and is championed by Iowa's U.S. Senator Joni Ernst in Congress. This is not real. It's not... Okay, they call it the Department of Government Efficiency. This is not a government department. This is not a part of the government. This is just 2 guys, like, I don't know. They just want attention, first of all, but they are just like advising the GOP on like what to cut. And it's like they already want to do this.
Yeah. As far as I can tell, the only thing that they're trying to cut is those DEI programs, because that is apparently like half of our federal budget is actually being put towards DEI programs.
Right. Just like that gender balance rule on state boards and commissions, that was DEI. So Chris Cornor was ahead of her time. She was already doing Doge before Doge was cool.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, I don't know, Bernie Sanders has been like, oh, like, Doge might be good because they might get rid of like military, they might cut the military budget. Sure, buddy. Like, come on, man.
There's a tone of like sarcasm to that statement that he made, but it's also like, you don't really need to be pretending this is like real.
Yeah.
This is just, it doesn't need to exist. It's like Republican policy as a meme. Like, it's not, they're going to do this shit anyway.
They've been doing this for decades.
Yeah, they're trying to act like this is like new. The wave of the future, new Republican politics, is cutting government spending.
Austerity. Wow. Amazing.
We really care a lot about government waste, says one of the top recipients of government contracts. I mean, that's probably his main motivation, is like, more contracts for my companies, please. Mm-hmm. We're the most efficient.
Very efficient. Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Just a peek behind the curtain of Kim Reynolds' personal life. Right now, I'm really focused on this next legislative session. And a new puppy. I'm focused on that and trying to get her trained. Reynolds recently adopted a Labradoodle puppy she named Rosie. Politicians are always getting dogs when they're trying to seek higher office. So obviously this is...
And a Labradoodle.
Planting the seeds for a presidential run next time.
That's an absolute pander dog. That dog is pandering only pet.
Yeah, and her name is Rosie. Is that supposed to be like Rosie the Riveter?
Yeah, maybe.
Because she's all about like advancing women. Women should be the ones limiting everyone else's rights and like cutting entitlement spending. As long as women are doing it, we're making progress. All right, this goes a little bit more into Chris Cornoyer's history. I'm going to have a lot of trouble with her name.
Right.
So the sooner she's out of office, the better.
Yeah, Kim Reynolds is a lot easier, so we hope that she stays.
Yeah. The most important thing for me when it comes to elected officials is me being able to say their names. That doesn't have any potential racist outcomes, right? Okay, it should be either a name that I can pronounce easily or one that is like so hard for me and my Iowan mouth to say.
Yeah. Well, then you're on equal footing. If it's hard for everyone to say, then it's less of a standout.
Yeah, I guess Cornoyer is just my problem.
Yeah.
All right, so a little bit about her history. Cornoyer said she got her first taste of politics after the Sandy Hook school shooting in 2012. Her twin boys were first graders at the time, the same age as some of the victims. So that's very dark, and makes sense that would inspire you to want to get involved in some way, right? She wanted to know what her school was doing to enhance safety measures and couldn't get an answer from her school board representative. So she decided to run and ultimately replaced him on the board. A friend of mine said, well, if you don't think he's doing a good job, you should run for it, she said. And I thought, oh no, I can't. I'm not doing that. I didn't really have any ambition to do that. I don't know if I buy this story because she's, like I said, she seems pretty ambitious. But, the more I really thought about it and talked to my family about it, they said, you know what? If not you, who? She said she worked to understand her role on the school board and enact good policy.
Is she one
Zero
of those
examples provided?
I was going to say, I mean, Sandy Hook thing, like Republican, like, is she one of those people who wants to arm all the teachers? I'm guessing.
I would have to imagine that that's the solution she had in mind. One more bit from her here. You're not there to fire math teachers or basketball coaches, she said. You're there to really set good policy that, supports students being successful after graduation and be a good steward of taxpayer dollars. So I took that job very seriously, and then I started paying attention to other issues that were important to me. So yeah, scroll up a couple paragraphs. She ran for school board to replace somebody because she didn't like that they weren't really taking school shootings seriously, I guess. And then there's no mention of well, did she enact any policy to impact that at all? No mention. You'd think if that was her, that was the catalyst convincing her that she should take on this role. Okay, what did she do about it? I'm going to guess nothing because they don't mention it.
Yeah, that's what you have to assume. And
something else that they push about her background is that she's a, well, it said computer nerd in the headline of the article, right? So she knows all about computers and technology. And, well, they don't really say, I guess her dad got her into programming when she was young. Okay, and she went to school and got some sort of degree in that. And so the past few years, she's been doing an after-school program at her kid's school or something and promoting that. And then during the COVID-19 pandemic, Reynolds expanded the rules about who is qualified to substitute teach. Cornoyer said that allowed her to gain the qualification and move into substitute teaching. So she was doing this after-school programming thing and then became a sub. It's a really great gig, and it's given me an opportunity to get into the classrooms and see what kind of really great things are going on in our schools at the front lines. This is
wow.
This is an Iowa state legislature Republican who is in your schools. So this is sold as a technology and education background. Is that a couple years ago she became a substitute teacher. She's done after school programming things, and it doesn't get super specific. What did she do? What was her job before this? Was she really working in is she a programmer? Does she know how to code or something? They don't get specific, and this really bothered a listener of ours who sent us an email that I'm going to get into a little bit here. Thank you to Darvin for emailing us this. It was driving him crazy that they really glossed over her tech background here.
Yeah. She didn't even recommend any graphics cards. She didn't tell us what's on her Steam winter sales shopping list.
Which crypto to buy.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Darvin, who emailed us, some bullet points that stick out. He said, she claims in many bios to be a small business owner. From what I can see, that pertains to her web design business, CCX Solutions. Did you look at this at all, Evan?
A little bit, yeah.
So ccx.net is the webpage for her small business, CCX Solutions. And I'm probably going to make this website like the episode image here. It is, there's a copyright somewhere on this page that says 1997. And this is 100%.
Believe them.
A 1997 website, which I think is great. Like, I prefer this sort of like older, simple web design. It's just like images and text, especially animated GIFs. Just at the top there's a header of ones and zeros sort of scrolling by. Yep. If it was green, I would say it's Matrix, but it's just gray on black.
I'm missing the little under construction GIF. I'm missing the little web ring.
She's a professional. It's no longer under construction. This is a complete website.
Oh, true.
But yeah, it is like, if this is somebody who we are to believe is currently, a web designer, I'm surprised to see this being like the public face of the business.
Yeah, there's no CSS tables. There's no style sheets being used here. It's a little outdated.
Sure. CCX offers a full range of affordable website design, maintenance, and internet/e-commerce consultation services. Back to Darvin's email. Here, this is a quote from Darvin, our listener. What the actual fuck? This is Iowa's new tech czar? If you go into the Our Work section, where it's supposed to show her portfolio, pretty much all the websites listed either no longer exist or are using Squarespace or WordPress. And there's no claim on those web pages of any connection to CCX Solutions. Also, I can't find CCX Solutions registered as a business in Iowa. It's possible it's registered in another state or under a different name, but that's weird. I mean, I think it's cool if she was running an illegal web design business, unregistered. Dark money web solutions. A couple other points that Darvin let us know about because they are not being reported in the mainstream news. Chris Cornoyer was married to a man named Kurt Cornoyer. They got divorced in 2020. And this I don't quite understand. I guess Marionette Miller Meeks and Chris Cornoyer shared a residence at some point in the past few years.
Marionette Miller Meeks has got a lot of shady residences, apparently.
There's a lot going on with where she has been registered. And the divorce filings, which I guess Darvin looked up, showed that Chris and Kurt Cornoyer, I'm never going to say it right. Chris and Kurt Cornoyer were worth $3.3 million in 2020. So pretty doing well. And in addition, this has not been reported either. Chris Cornoyer, not only a brilliant techno lord and benevolent substitute teacher, also a reserve deputy for the county sheriff's office. Where does she find the time?
Wow.
Yeah, I love that. And this is just a glimpse at how she's been she knows a lot more about computers than her peers back when she was a kid. When other kids were typing their school assignments on a typewriter, Cornoyer said she had keyboarded them and printed them with a dot matrix printer.
Whoa.
She knows her stuff.
Damn.
Using a word processor in the 80s, huh? Keyboarded. That came across as strange to me.
Yeah.
Keyboarded? She keyboarded her school assignments? It's still typing.
Yeah, it's
using
same
a computer.
Same layout, same keys for the most part,
Yeah. So yeah, they focus a lot on STEM, how she's going to be great for the future of STEM in the state of Iowa. I love all the quotes from Kim Reynolds in this article because it's verbatim. So they include little verbal sort of asides. We've really raised the awareness of STEM, but it's been in existence for years. So we need to really take a look at what that looks like going forward. And so I'd like her to really take the STEM Advisory Council and take a look at what the next 11 years looks like. How do we restructure it? How do we be more intentional? How do we align it with what we're doing already here in the state with workforce and innovation? And what do those new jobs look like? She says really a lot. And look like. Take a look at what it looks like. All right. Oh, fuck. This is a sense of doom when I read this to you. She said she also hopes to have Cornoyer help lead some initiatives around using artificial intelligence in state government.
I knew that was coming. That's where the efficiency comes in, right?
Yeah, I mean, what does that look like? It looks like you can probably fire a lot of workforce development people, just have AI deny people's unemployment claims. Might as well have AI write the state code, rewrite the whole state code.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely saving time on emails. So, if she can spend more time being a reserve deputy or whatever.
There's a few things that AI still can't do. One of them is shoot guns at unarmed civilians. We'll save that for human workers.
Yeah.
She does say this may ease some of your concerns. Kim Reynolds says, we also want to make sure that we're being very careful in how we implement it. All right. As long as they're being careful as they implement AI to run our state government, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot of specifics there. Sounds like a bunch of fucking nonsense to me.
Like most of the AI wave has been, it's just overselling what this shit is capable of. Well, anytime you and I have interacted with these AI platforms, it's like, this sucks. And how is that not everyone's experience? You see this shit and it's like, oh, this is crap. This sucks.
Yeah. 100%. And the STEM thing too is like, it's not like about STEM, it's about pushing out the humanities. I mean, it's not like they didn't teach science and technology and fucking math in schools before. It's just that they're like prioritizing that over being able to read and write.
Right. It requires less critical thought. I mean, and that's a very hard thing to teach children, is how to think critically. Yeah. And we also don't want them to do it. So
computer programmers are the worst. They have the worst politics. I went to school for computer science, so I can say this. I dropped out because they're the worst. But they all think in black and white. They're all libertarians. Oh, like I can code God to
sure.
Like we could just recode the government. Like we just need better rules. Like it's not.
Yeah. I understand that mentality. Like, don't we all agree on what efficiency is and what would be beneficial to all of us? Like, and the only government fails because of corruption and human error. So if we can remove that, just place an objective program in charge of everything.
Yep.
And then there's no incentive for, why would the computer be corrupt?
Right.
What does the computer have to gain?
The algorithm works perfectly.
Actually,
pure logic.
Our listener, Darvin, closed out his email with something similar. What is it about Gen X tech people? I've worked in multiple jobs where the IT coordinator is somebody in their 50s who is stubborn and impossible to deal with and relatively clueless about any technology past 2010. Thanks again to Darvin for doing a little bit of research for me, so I didn't have to look up any of these things. The CCX Solution website, that's a great find, and everybody should check that out, ccx.net. Yeah, that's a great domain, too. It's a three-letter domain. Like, she's got to hold on to that. That's very valuable.
Right, for sure. The only thing that's disappointing is not Matrix Green, because this is that's what it reminds me of.
Well, the website predates the Matrix, so she didn't know about that. And then there's a bit here near the end of the article that I definitely want to touch on. Cornoyer has received some criticism from the Iowa Standard.
Uh-oh.
And then this is fucked. The Des Moines Register should not be linking to an Iowa Standard article, and they do in this piece.
Damn.
you should not be granting them the legitimacy of a direct link. Anyway, she's received some criticism from the Iowa Standard, a right-wing blog favoring socially conservative policies. The blog has accused Cournoyer of being too cozy with LGBTQ groups in the state, including Iowa Safe Schools, attending a fundraiser for the group. She has also described conversion therapy for LGBTQ youth as, quote, awful. Okay, that sounds reasonable, right?
This is the best thing I've heard about her.
Right. Unfortunately, though, I just looked up her legislative record. She was a co-sponsor of Senate File 83 in 2023, which is a bill that prohibited discussion of gender identity in schools for kindergarten through 8th grade. And that bill did not pass because the governor's bill, which had that same shit in it, did pass. So the bill that she co-sponsored is essentially now law, even if that bill in particular failed. It was eclipsed by a similar bill. So she has done her work to sort of overcome her past of being somewhat normal.
Yeah. I mean, you're never going to move up if you keep holding on to those beliefs. You gotta ditch that shit if you're going to be in Kim Reynolds' administration.
I got up and spoke about how, as a former school board member, it's extremely important to me that all kids feel safe at school, she said. And we've come a long way in terms of anti-bullying programs and mental health supports and school resource officers. And things that we can do to fortify the buildings. Fortify
the buildings. Damn. They're going to put like turrets and shit. They're going to build like a big fucking wall with little slits in it for the cannonballs to fly through.
Yeah. There's a big moat, and we have some of the kids get like, if you apply, instead of being like a crossing guard, you can be like you can draw the gates. If kids don't feel safe at school, they can't learn. Well, okay, yeah. I don't know if this was part of the Des Moines Register interview or if this is an old quote, but like you would hope that she would retain some of that, but
yeah,
doesn't look like it. So that's our new lieutenant governor. Everyone's excited. There's a sense of relief. Finally, a woman is in charge of the. Oh no, wait. Kim Reynolds was lieutenant governor before, so this is. Mm-hmm. It's only novel because we have two women in charge, and now things will get better, right? Adam Gregg was the real problem.
I mean, wasn't great. Maybe this is an upgrade.
I don't know. All right, next up on the agenda, also related to the Des Moines Register, they're being sued by Donald Trump. And, well, I think really the most interesting thing I found here, there's a Bleeding Heartland article where Laura Bellin sort of analyzes a lot of what's in the court filing. And I think she does a good job explaining a lot of the stuff. But I want to read directly from the court filing. So Donald Trump is suing Ann Selzer and the Des Moines Register for the poll that came out a few days before the election that showed Kamala Harris winning Iowa. Obviously, at the time, in the moment, that was like huge, earth-shattering news. Turned out to be just an extremely fucked wrong poll. The poll was just very wrong.
Yep.
So on the surface, I guess they're calling this poll an attempt at election interference. I think obviously the intention of this is to just scare the media out of being at all critical of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Never ever publish an outlier poll again,
Right. But I don't understand how anyone can accept this reasoning. Like, how is releasing a poll that's wrong election interference?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Seems extremely flimsy, but again, I don't think that's the point. I think it's intimidation. They're riding high off of that ABC lawsuit. They won $15 million for, I don't know. They were too critical of Trump or something.
It was, I haven't looked that much into that either, but like one, and I can't remember who it even was. One person on ABC News said that Trump was civilly liable for rape.
The rape thing. Yep.
Right. Which I guess is not technically accurate. I don't know what the like legally accurate thing is to say about what happened there. The E. Jean Carroll lawsuit.
They settled over something that was not actually rape, because that's a criminal thing. I don't know. I don't. That's a guess.
Yeah, not like legally defined as rape, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, this thing is ridiculous. I can't believe. I mean, yeah, it's they're attacking the media, probably wasting a bunch of money defending this frivolous bullshit. I mean, I would hope it gets thrown out, but well, I don't know.
They tried to sue in Iowa. Like this would be handled by state courts, but it has been kicked up to federal courts, I guess, which maybe means that there's a better chance of it being thrown out. I would hope. Yeah,
you would think.
And to be clear, Evan and I also attack the media all the time, but that is what's known as media on media crime. We're part of the community. We're holding our own accountable. The Des Moines Register and Rock Hard Caucus are on equal footing, and we're just trying to. We're looking out for them. We're trying to help them do what's right. So let me read a little bit from this court filing, because it's ridiculous. Alan Ostrachan, by the way, is involved in this lawsuit because he always latches on to any frivolous right-wing bullshit lawfare that he can get his hands on. So there's a lot of legalese in this, but it's also pretty blunt and stupid. Number one, this action, which arises under the Iowa Consumer Fraud Act, seeks accountability for brazen election interference committed by the defendants in favor of now defeated former Democrat candidate Kamala Harris through use of a leaked and manipulated Des Moines Register Iowa poll conducted by Selzer and S&C. So it wasn't leaked, was it?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
And how would it being leaked be the fault of the people who did the poll? I don't really know. And how does this violate the Consumer Fraud Act?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're saying that they knew that the poll was wrong or something, and they still published it.
Yeah, and the consumers of the Des Moines Register were defrauded because they believed the poll.
Pretty easy to defend against, considering, like, I do trust that Ann Seltzer actually polled those people and probably has, a whole lot of data to support why it was published, with the results it was showing. Like,
yeah, I mean, I believe that she thought she had an accurate poll, and I don't see, like, if this was intentional, to what end? He won.
Right, that too. Yeah.
What do you gain from doing this on purpose? Nothing.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it on the pod before. Like, I mean, did that poll, like, really help Kamala Harris, or did it, like, help Trump? Like, I mean, there's not really it could go either way.
Yeah. Contrary to reality and defying credulity, defendants' Harris poll, they refer to it as the Harris poll multiple times in this, was published 3 days before Election Day and purported to show Harris leading President Trump in Iowa by 3 points. He ultimately won Iowa by over 13 points. There's a quote from Selzer here. It's hard for anybody to say they saw this coming. However, as Selzer well knew, there was a perfectly good reason nobody saw this coming. Because a 3-point lead for Harris in deep red Iowa was not reality. It was election interfering fiction.
Now, a poll isn't reality. A poll is a sample of a group of people.
Yeah. I'm sort of astonished that, like, lawyers wrote this and, like, a judge is supposed to read this. I guess I mean, I shouldn't think so highly of lawyers, but, like, this is so informal, a lot of the writing here. Like, it's like you're writing a newspaper column for a lot of this. And, like, this is supposed to be a legal document.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, like, serious and objective.
Except it's not. It's
of course it's not. You're right.
That. That's not the point.
That's a facade whenever it's employed anyway. They quote Jeff Kaufman here, Iowa Republican Party chairman, and they spell his name wrong.
Uh-oh.
He said, not only did Selzer disrespect Iowa and our voters, but she caused Iowa to be laughed at by the entire country. And that's a quote from the Washington Examiner. I guess they interviewed Jeff Kaufman for that.
Half the country was really excited by that poll, man.
Yeah. How is it disrespectful?
It's legal to be wrong. Again, it's legal to be wrong. You can make wrong assumptions in your weighting of poll results. Like, it's okay.
I think that's important. Yeah, like when there's a difference between being wrong and like lying maliciously, like trying to mislead people on purpose. It's just I don't think polling is as possible as it used to be. That's the takeaway.
Yeah.
Reading more from the court filing. For too long, left-wing pollsters have attempted to influence electoral outcomes through manipulated polls that have unacceptable error rates and are not grounded in widely accepted polling methodologies.
Mm-hmm.
This is solely a problem for left-wing pollsters.
These left-wing pollsters out here.
Yeah. I guess I don't really know. Like, I think that Ann Selzer is like genuinely dedicated to being like as objective as possible.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely
know if she has any personal opinions on politics. She seems like just like a numbers fetishist, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's published plenty of polls that showed Trump ahead before. It's like...
Sure. Yeah. I really think that she takes polling, or did. She's out of the game now. But I think she took it way more seriously than what they're saying here. Like, I don't think she would ever intentionally try to like influence an election with a poll.
No, I don't either.
While Selzer is not the only pollster to engage in this corrupt practice, she had a huge platform and following, and thus a significant and impactful opportunity to deceive voters.
Yeah. Oh, she's getting kickbacks from the fucking Des Moines Register. Like what? They're giving her like fucking gift cards. Like,
again, what would be the end goal of this? You release a poll that shows something wildly different from reality a couple days before the election. So you like, what do you have? You have 2 days where people feel differently, and then the election shows that the poll was way off. Like, what have you gained? Nothing.
Yeah,
this doesn't make any sense. As Selzer knows, this type of manipulation creates a narrative of inevitability for Democrat candidates, increases enthusiasm among Democrats, compels Republicans to divert campaign time and money to areas in which they are ahead, and deceives the public into believing that Democrat candidates are performing better than they really are. The only part of that I could see being a potential, like, strategic idea is, like, diverting campaign time and money into, but again, it was right before the election.
Yeah, and did that happen?
Like, things were already pretty.
I don't think the Trump campaign was like, oh fuck. I'm sure they had internal polling. They probably laughed at it. Which a lot of people I think had the same reaction because it was like a big outlier, and it was like, opposite of what we said on the podcast. Turns out we were right, but yeah, I mean, it's nonsense.
Yeah. And in this next bit, the Democrat need for fake polling was even more acute than usual in the 2024 election, given Harris's many fatal weaknesses as a candidate and lack of appeal to critical swaths of the traditional Democrat base. Her incessant use of word salads, i.e. jumbles of exceptionally incoherent speech, only underscored the urgency for left-wing pollsters to try and rescue Harris's candidacy. Again, this is a court filing. And there's citations for that, including 2 Breitbart articles.
2 of them? Wow.
Yeah. The 11th point in the court filing is Selzer's polling, quote, miss was not an astonishing coincidence. It was intentional. As President Trump observed, she knew exactly what she was doing.
A credible witness.
That's all the citation that is needed. It's
Donald Trump saying she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing.
Okay, here's how they say they violated the Consumer Fraud Act. A person shall not engage in a practice or act the person knows or reasonably should know is an unfair practice, deception, fraud, false pretense, or false promise, or the misrepresentation, concealment, suppression, or omission of a material fact with intent that others rely upon the same. So this is seriously, I think, changing the common understanding of what the purpose of an election poll is. Like, this is like a weather prediction, basically.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say that an inaccurate weather report would more closely fit the bill here.
Yeah. They said it was going to be really sunny on election day, and then it rained a bunch, and that depressed voter turnout. So yeah, that in the future we're going to see them suing the weather guys.
Yeah. So this whole thing is 25 pages. I did not read every little bit of it, but I think that what I've read so far gives people a good idea of the kind of horse shit that's in there. I would recommend checking it out if you're interested in seeing just like how, like what the bar is for a court filing for something like this. It's pretty slapdash and pathetic. But I want to point out that my congressional representative, Mary Annette Miller Meeks, she has released a statement about this as well. She tweeted, November 2nd, Seltzer predicted I'd lose by 16 points. I don't remember that part of it.
I don't
That's
either.
Remarkable. Yeah. In a costly battleground House race, what negative impact did the poll have in a close race? The action by President Trump will uncover how Seltzer got President Trump's and my race so incredibly wrong. And I feel like they've already kind of done that. They kind of already released the methodology and all the data.
Yeah, right.
So, but just that idea that a poll has that much of an impact on the actual result.
Crazy. I mean, again, like the point of this lawsuit is not to win the lawsuit. It's to fucking gum up the works and like cause companies like Gannett to reconsider before they publish certain things.
Right. An industry that already is constantly slashing costs as much as possible. Like if you make this so costly for them, they're not going to do it again in the future. And actually, speaking of Gannett, there's a New York Times article about this, and here's a quote from that. It's unclear whether Ms. Seltzer will be on her own and bearing the cost of her defense. A spokeswoman for Gannett, which has called the lawsuit meritless, declined to comment on whether the company or the paper would shoulder those costs. Ms. Seltzer declined to comment, remarking, right now I'm focused on getting proper legal representation.
Damn.
So yeah, Gannett may not even be backing them up in this case. So good luck to Ann Seltzer. I think that this lawsuit is bullshit, and I think, I don't know. Like, I think she's just fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to fuck up, I don't think. Like, there's been a lot of fucked up polls in the past. Like,
true. Yeah,
you make a couple wrong assumptions and it can skew things pretty far in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and this one only got so much attention because it was her.
Right. And yeah, like you said, I mean, it's like polling is different than it used to be. People don't pick up their phones. Like, I don't know all of the methodology stuff behind it, but I know that there's, always like shifting assumptions about who's picking up, who's responding. And like a lot of it is kind of massaging the data to fit your assumptions.
Right.
Or
You get a
weighting
sample,
things a certain way.
You compare that to like, what's the actual voting population going to look like, and you try to make it match. Yeah. It's beyond me. And it seems like there's got to be a lot of bullshit and assumptions involved, and so obviously you're going to get incorrect predictions sometimes.
And sometimes your sample is just fucked up, Sometimes you get a sample that's not representative, and you thought it was.
Right. Actually, the Bleeding Heartland article mentions that like it's not the first time her poll has been wrong. It's just like the most most off she's ever been. Like, I think it said in 2004, the Seltzer poll predicted Kerry winning Iowa.
Right.
Okay, the last thing that I thought we should touch on is this bizarre rich people murder-suicide in Osceola.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is wild. Really a big contrast with the Brian Thompson shit.
Yeah, the incident itself is pretty alarming, and the way that it's being reported on is also
very strange,
concerning. Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been a Des Moines Register heavy episode, so we'd like to thank them for their variety of reporting and involvement in all of these stories. Kevin Baskins of the Des Moines Register wrote this a couple days ago. Osceola couple known for Iowa public service leadership struck by tragedy.
Yeah.
Now,
let's guess what this tragedy is.
I already spoiled it a minute ago.
Yeah.
But is this the headline you expect to read about a murder-suicide?
No, it's fucking wild.
A longtime physician and Iowa civic leader is dead, and his wife, a bastion of the state's arts and cultural scene, was critically wounded in what Osceola's police chief says was an apparent murder-suicide attempt. This is about James and Mary Ellen Kimball. So they don't know for sure, but it obviously the police chief says
two people
it
got
looks
shot.
Yeah, and
there was no other witnesses.
Right.
Seems pretty shut case there, but
right. So yeah, these a lot of this article is about like how great they were. This is going to leave a large hole in our fabric, said the police chief. The Osceola mayor, Thomas Kedley, said, "The news hit me pretty hard. They were close friends of mine. I joke with Jim and Mary Ellen, and I say that they, as a couple, are the Ben Franklins of Osceola."
The multiple Ben Franklins?
I mean, I know that we all say, we're going to say weird stuff in moments of intense grief, but we don't all get quoted in the newspaper in those moments. And, yeah, calling my friends who just did a murder-suicide the Ben Franklins of Osceola is an interesting choice. There's nothing that these people have not been a part of that hasn't been a part of the success of our community. I guess that's kind of like Ben Franklin. I mean, every time I think about Ben Franklin now, I just think about how he was a pervert.
Yeah. I was going to say he went to France and had a bunch of sex with prostitutes and stuff.
Yeah. And this, I think, is maybe the most revealing. You know, and this is a quote from, who's Duffus? The police chief, sorry. "You know, I'm thinking sometime next month there will be organizations who suddenly sit back and go, wow, this is a hole in our organization, because they were just there and always active." So basically, this was like a rich couple who was bankrolling all of the like nonprofits and stuff in the area.
Yeah.
And that will be the greatest impact. Unfortunately, this murder-suicide means that our budget's going to be fucked next year. That's what it's all about, right? Here's an interesting story from the mayor. I guess James Kimball put the money down to save the town's golf course. He said in the meeting, "I will outbid anyone by $1 to make sure that our golf course is saved." He put his own money forward, outbid the highest bidder by $1, and deeded it to the Clark County Development Corporation to then give it to the city of Osceola, and it's still prosperous today.
Yeah, he may have tried to murder his wife, but, you know, he did save the town golf course.
Yeah, I mean, how do you balance out those two things? I mean, I go to that golf course every day.
Yeah. You big golfer over here.
And it goes through all of these like accolades that he's received. He got a medical degree at the University of Iowa. He was honored as an 8/80 recipient. These are very old people, by the way.
Yeah.
In their 80s doing like, what happened? This is fucked.
It is fucked. It's very fucked. And the fact that he wasn't even successful, like...
Right. The wife is dead. He is not dead. He's in the hospital.
No, I think it's the other way around. She's still alive. Yeah, his wife was listed in critical condition Wednesday at Osceola's Clark County Hospital.
Oh, yeah, I misread that. Yeah,
Though I guess she could have been the one. There's not details out there. It's possible it was the other way around, but I'm guessing guessing not. But either way, yeah, very fucked up. Like, I don't know. I guess it's like the media is like reporting on it this way because they were like, well, obviously like rich, but also because they're they're like old as hell. So it's like that's like a mitigating factor, I guess. Like, oh, sure. You know, they had great long lives or whatever. Terrible that it ended in a fucking murder-suicide attempt. Like, it's insane. Can't believe it.
I'd
they
say
were
like 90,
struck by
90
tragedy.
Yeah,
Like,
and
what
like
the
90%
fuck?
of the article is like, look at all these great things that they did for the community. One of those, by the way, was helping Kim Reynolds start her political career.
Right,
So
right.
You can thank them for that, of course. Yeah, I like they spent the last couple weeks like trying to rehab the image of Brian Thompson, who was, literally a victim of a crime, and now the perpetrators / victims of a crime in this case are getting like a similar treatment. It's a very weird time for the media.
Yeah, for sure.
It will be difficult, if not impossible, to replace the philanthropic contributions of the Kimballs. They gave back to the community any time they could through just their service. There wasn't an event they weren't at. And we all know that those like nonprofit galas, those are actually doing good, just being at them.
It's also fucked up that they're like, they just treat them both like, I mean, they're like not even like separate people. Like,
yeah, I mean, they list a lot of James's sort of life accomplishments. They don't talk as much about his wife. I guess she was named an Iowan of the Day at the state fair.
oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. The end of this is like maybe the most shocking of all. They were the constants in the room. You could say the moral compass of Osceola. I hope people are not, following them for moral guidance at this point. And then this last bit from the police chief. I can tell you this. To me, this does not impact their legacy. To me, their legacy extends far past what happened yesterday. It doesn't diminish it to me in any way. And as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be diminished within the community either.
And this is a police officer saying this.
I mean, the chief of police in the town. Do you think that other people who are, found shot in their homes are given the same treatment if they're not
Absolutely
like super wealthy?
not. Absolutely not. It's horrible shit. I can't believe that. Like,
to say that this does not impact their legacy at all, like nothing. It makes no impact on how anyone should think of them. Really?
Yeah. You shot your spouse.
Yeah.
And then yourself.
I mean,
like, Jesus Christ.
I have no idea what happened here. Like, why did this happen? And maybe those are questions that should be thought about before you give a statement to the media that's like, no, these are the greatest people in our town, and what happened should have no impact on how you think of them at all. Huh? Crazy. Well, that was a great one to end on.
We have a habit of this. Yeah.
I feel like we keep doing this. Yeah, I mean, there's a few other articles that I did not touch on today. For example, the Bleeding Heartland piece by, who is that by? Let me just remember the name. Oh, Rick Moraine.
Rick Moron.
Pressure on Joni Ernst shows GOP has become Trump's captive.
Oh, yeah. It's the Rehabilitate Joni Ernst article. Mm-hmm. Republicans are being too mean to her because she was like, apathetic about Paul Hegseth because he's a rapist.
Right.
I'm sure this is really going to hurt her career. I'm sure that she's definitely not going to win re-election because of this.
I saw in the comments people saying Democrats need to register as Republican and vote for Joni Ernst in her next primary.
Oh my fucking God.
I mean, are they still going to be saying that after she votes to confirm Pete Hegseth anyway?
Probably, yeah.
And then another one that we don't really have time for. Jim Leach died, a former Republican member of Congress. Well, Republican in quotes. Like, he absolutely became a rhino in his later life.
Wasn't he technically an independent? Maybe his last couple elections?
No, I think he, like, while he was in office, he stayed a Republican, but, like, he was supportive of Obama. And in the past couple years, I think he made a big show of, like, officially leaving the Republican Party, like, because of January 6th or something.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, he preceded Loebsack.
Mm-hmm.
Or was he... He was Cedar Rapids representative for a while too. I guess the districts have kind of shifted a bit in the years since, so it's not quite a 1-to-1.
Yeah, hard to keep up with.
But there was a piece in the Register by Greg Gansky, who was the rep who preceded Steve King.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very interesting, like, perspective because they were both Republicans at the time of, like, launching the war in Iraq, and Jim Leach voted against it and Greg Gansky voted for it. And it's very interesting to read from, like the guy who preceded Steve King. So, like, a very conservative guy from a very conservative area, 20 years later, sort of, like, regretting that he voted for the war in Iraq. It's like, I guess, you know, for all the good it does, thanks for saying this now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very courageous, but more than you could say for a lot of them who voted for it.
Yeah. All right, well, we should probably wrap up for today. You want to listen to some voicemails after this?
Yeah, sure. It's been a while. That's what I really miss. I don't want to talk about this politics shit. It's fucking garbage. Like I'm checked out of this fucking shit.
You don't want to talk about the philanthropist murder suicide? That's
I guess that was pretty good, but no, I'm joking. But yeah, it's hard to bring up the muster for this shit these days, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to do a Rock Hard Caucus in a minute here. That'll be at patreon.com/rockhardcaucus. We'd love for you to subscribe and listen to that. It's only $1, so it's not a whole lot of money. We also released a new episode of Speed Freak Read Speak a couple days ago. Me and Tony talking about Sonic the Hedgehog comics. And hey, if you would like to be part of the Rock Hard Caucus series, you can call us at 319-849-8733. You could also email rockhardcaucus@gmail.com like our friend Darvin did this week. And you can even mail us stuff at P.O. Box 5336 in Coralville, Iowa, 52241. Oh, yeah, I also wanted to plug one more time the new Wombat album, which is called To Search for a Writer Destroyed / Go to the Ant Thou Sluggard. It has 2 titles, and it's at wombatnoise.bandcamp.com. And to celebrate the holiday week, Wombat has recorded one of our yearly Christmas covers, and I'm going to put a clip of that here at the end of the episode. So enjoy that, and maybe subscribe to the Wombat YouTube or something, and then you can hear the whole cover. I think we're going to release that on Christmas Eve. So
hell yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Love Wombat.
Thank you. I love us too. All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya.